And welcome to the session in which we would look at the income tax formula, and we will also look at Form 1040 and other tax forms. This is an overview of the income tax formula. Eventually, we will discuss each component much more in depth. But here I have to give you the big picture, then we will dive into the other components later on step by step. So how does it work? First, the taxpayer report their income. Then they are allowed certain deduction. Then we deduct the permitted deduction from income according to the tax law. Then we'll come up with something we call taxable income. Then that taxable income is subject to the appropriate tax rate to come up with our tax liability. Then after we compute our tax liability, we find out that we might qualify for certain tax credits, or we already made certain payment, we deduct those from our tax liability, and whatever difference is the difference. So simply put, let's start with 100,000 as income. Permitted deduction were, for the sake of simplicity, 30,000. We are left with taxable income of 70. I'm just making these numbers out. And let's assume the appropriate tax rate. Again, don't worry about the figures. Those are not correct, but just to make the point, 20% of 70,000 is a tax liability of 14,000. Of that amount, we already paid 12,000, and we got 3,000 of tax credit. Tax credit means it reduces our income. So between the payment and the tax credit, and this tax credit, we're going to call it refundable. Don't worry about this. We overpaid, and the credit together, we overpay our taxes by 1,000. Then we got a refund. So this is a simple way. Let's assume we did not have a credit. We only paid 12,000 from our wages. Then we have a tax due of 2,000. And this is this is the whole income tax course in 2 minutes. But we have to look at income, permitted deductions, taxable income, how to compute the percentage, how to compute the tax liability, what's considered a tax payment, what's considered tax credit, so on and so forth. This is what we will discuss. But the next thing we're going to look at, basically the same information, but we're going to dive into Form 1040 and other forms as well, such as Schedule 1. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming, not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com, and let's build your tax foundation together. So looking at the tax form itself, we're going to simplify today. Here you have a place where you could report your income. As you can see, you have your income. And within your income, you are going to have other income coming from other places, something we called adjustment to income from Schedule 1. We're going to have income coming from Schedule 1. So first, this is the income. So here you have remember we have your income, you have your income. And what could your income include? Your income could include wages from your W-2, from your work. Household employee wages not reported on W-2. Basically, you made money and it's not reported on W-2. Tip income, which is, we have to know tip income, the law have changed. We have to see how it's deducted. Taxable dependent care, employer provided adoption benefit, wages from Form 8919. So you list all your income. Now we have another Schedule 1, another form called Schedule 1, additional income and adjustments. So if you have additional income like taxable refund, that's taxable, alimony received, rental real estate, other income that you have, gambling income, cancellation of that. We're going to go through each one of those separately later
on. So keep that in mind. So this is all sorts of income. Then you are going to have adjustments to income. Adjustments to income, they will be able to reduce your income, reduce your taxable income, which is you want that. You want as many as adjustments as possible because those would reduce your taxable income. Then you have add 11 through 23 and 25. Those are your adjustment to income. Enter here in form 1040 line 10. So the adjustments will go to line 10, which is they would reduce your income, and the additional income that we computed from schedule 1 will go on line 8 right here, number 8. So for the sake of simplicity, let's just work a quick example to walk you through this. It's very important to look at forms. So for the sake of simplicity, you work for a company, and this is called a W-2. At the end of the year, they'll give you a W-2. And for the sake of simplicity, we had wages of 100,000. Don't worry about the rest. I'm just keeping this simple for now, 100,000. So what you will do, you report wages of 100,000 right here. Great. Now, also for the sake of simplicity, let's assume you had adjustments to income. Again, don't worry about this. We're just gonna use a number for now. We're gonna learn about adjustments of 30,000. So adjustments to income is 30,000. So this is a deduction. 100,000 in total income minus the adjustments equal to 70,000. Great. Now, if you have other income, for example, if you have interest income, they would be reported to you. And for example, let's assume you have $2,000 in interest income. It will be reported on form 1099 INT, and you would report this as income in addition to your W-2. But I am not going to assume this, just show you the forms, how income is reported to you as a taxpayer. You might also have $1099G, government payment, which is, for example, unemployment compensation. You happen to have received 5,000 of unemployment compensation. You have to report this income, unemployment compensation, that's taxable. You have to report this with your income. You have to report your interest income within your income. Those are additional income that you have to report as a taxpayer. For example, the interest income would be reported under interest. You'll have an interest category and you have to report that income on that. For example, you would report the taxable interest on line 2B. And for our example, we said 2,000. We're going to assume nothing, but you would have reported, just to keep the computation simple, you would have reported 2,000 here, but for now I'm just going to keep it out. And the government payment will be reported under unemployment compensation. You would report 5,000 here. It will go down to here. Then it will move to line 8 here. But again, to keep it simple, I'm just going to assume you only have wages. Now you have what we called 70,000 of adjusted gross income, or AGI. I'm going to talk a lot about AGI, 70,000. Then you have to compute what we called your total tax. Now, to compute your total tax, you can either deduct your standard deduction or itemized deduction. You have to deduct something here. Now, I'm going to use the standard deduction to keep it simple. And from this amount, from the 70,000, I'm going to assume this taxpayer is married filing jointly, and for that year they can deduct 31,500, which is given to you on the form. Now you could use this amount, the standard, or you could itemize. We'll talk about the itemized deduction later. So now let's compute their taxable income. Now we said 70,000 adjusted gross income minus 31,500. That's going to give us 38,500 as taxable income. 38,500 as taxable income right here, 38,500. Now what you will do is you would see if there's any child. We're going to assume we have no credit, and for the sake of this illustration, let's assume your tax responsibility, your tax on line 16, making this up, happens to be 6,000, and that's your tax. I'm not going to compute this. I'm just going to make this assumption, 6,000. Then we're going to assume you have no credits, and from your W-2, your employer withheld $7,000. So your tax bill is 6 based on your taxes that we computed, and you have money deducted from your paycheck up to $7,000 for federal income tax. It means you have a refund of $1,000, and basically you have a refund of $1,000. So we're keeping everything simple because this is just an overview. Bear in mind, I am using the 2025 tax form. You could be looking at this recording for the 2026, 2028. Usually it doesn't change much in terms of what's income, what's deduction. These numbers might change from year to year, of course, but everything else is the same. So don't panic if you saw 2025 and you're studying for the 2028. On the CPA exam, they don't really ask for it. For the EA exam, yes, you have to be specific, but I'll be providing those tables on the website to see the differences every year, what should be the standard deduction, what should be the credit, so on and so forth, and the phase out. And if you're a student, you should have a textbook, and textbook should be up to date. Just FYI, in case you are looking this at a different year. What should you do now? You want to go to Farhat lectures, whether you are a CPA, an EA exam candidate, accounting student, or you're trying to learn more. Invest in yourself, podcast, AI tools, video lessons, as well as support from Farhat and his team. Invest in yourself. That's the best investment you can make, and God bless.